Yes guys, welcome back to another video, and today in this video I'm going to be talking about the 5 habits that you need to dial in order to get lean. So the first habit that you need to dial in for when trying to if you want to get lean, this habit is trying to prioritize resistance training. And the reason for this is because, let's say if you're on a fat loss journey, because your weight, and obviously you need to be in a deficit to lose weight, right? You need to be in a calorie deficit. But you got to understand that your weight is not just made up of pure fat. It's also made up of muscle tissue. So by you not prioritizing your strength training, and you're on a calorie deficit, you're not getting stronger within the gym. You're not progressively overloading. You're gonna just end up losing muscle, leading to less fat being lost. Yeah, you may still get that fat off a little bit, but you're just gonna look even smaller. You're gonna appear as a smaller version of yourself. And so by you prioritizing strength training, meaning either maintaining your strength or progressively overloading over time, that's going to lead to you having more muscle to be defined, whilst also losing that excess body fat as well. So it's very important that you prioritize strength training, because you can do all of the cardio in the world, but the 5 habits that you need to dial in order to get lean. So if you're not giving signals to your body to build muscle, then you're not going to end up losing fat effectively. So instead of doing loads of cardio thinking that it's going to burn fat, use cardio as a tool to burn calories. Don't use it as a tool to lose body fat. Once you make that mindset, and once you make that physical shift, and you prioritize resistance training, then I promise you'll become lean. You'll become leaner. You'll become unrecognizable by you being lean. So make sure you prioritize this resistance training. And one thing I also want to note is that if you want to know whether you're progressively overloading or not, then you must be tracking your workouts. Meaning you must log in every single hard working set that you perform, and with the weight that you're doing for each set, and plugging in the amount of reps that you do for each of those sets within every single exercise, and basically and for the next upcoming sessions, you're going to just aim to either increase the rep or increase the weight for every single one of those working sets. But however, if you don't, obviously, I don't expect you to increase the rep. I wouldn't expect you to increase the rep every single session weekly, but if you do it over time, then it will give you a huge sign that you're building muscle. Not a huge sign, but it will give an indication. Now, that's habit number 1. Now, habit number 2 is where you're going to be disciplined with your lifestyle choices, meaning you're not going to be cheating. You're not gonna say yes to, events, nights out, weddings, whatever it may be. Now, you can still go to these, yes, you can still go to these things and you'll still be able to lose fat. However, the problem is that when people try to have a little cheat meal, they end up falling off the plan. They end up going back. They're more likely going to be going back to that habit of, not sticking to that meal plan, not sticking to the actual plan, and they're just going to fall off their diet. And I think that's one of the reasons why people fall off their diet, is because especially in the fat loss phase, where they have one little like whatever it may be, like one little chocolate bar, for example, is because these processed foods make you more hungrier, leading to you more likely to be overeating, and possibly leading to you binge eating. And this also applies to you not binging on the weekends. This doesn't mean just because from Monday to Friday you hit your meal plan, just because you had a good start from Monday to Friday does not mean you should be, binging on the weekends. You gotta understand that consistency is 7 out of 7 days. Say no to these, weddings, nights out, alcohol, drinking, all of that stuff. I'm not saying you can never enjoy your life, but sometimes, you've got to be making these sacrifices, and especially in a cutting phase. So you need to get ready to learn to say no to all of these things that are gonna most likely will make you fall off your diet. Not only that though, learning to say no to these things will make you'll respect yourself, because you're gonna be putting yourself first before you put yourself with others. So yeah, that's habit number 2. Habit number 3 is where you're gonna be having a sleep routine, meaning waking up every single day at a similar time, and you're gonna be sleeping at a similar time. So, for example, if I set myself a routine where I'm gonna be sleeping at 9:30 p.m. max, and I'm waking up between 5:45 to 6:15. If I set that routine, then I'm gonna have to be sticking to that. And also, when trying to do a sleep routine, you need to make sure you do it in a way where you wake up early and you sleep earlier. So by you settling a sleeping routine, it's gonna allow you to get things done easily and in a more structured way. So make sure you get a sleep routine, and make sure you're also sleeping for 8 to 9 hours before you go to sleep. Now, the 4th habit that I want you to fix when trying to become leaner is you're going to be less busy. You're gonna be less distracted. You're gonna be staying busy, because you see, when you're bored, right? And that's one of the reasons why people fall off the diet as well. You end up falling off your diet because one of the reasons for that is because you're bored. Because if you're bored and you're just sitting at home doing nothing all day, your brain's gonna, your brain is just gonna start thinking about, food, and you're just gonna end up being hungry. Because the truth is, right, you're not hungry, you're just bored. And instead of being bored, and instead of you staying active, staying busy, staying active, you're not going to end up thinking about food, and it's going to make it easier for you to stick to a deficit and stick to a plan. So it's very important that you stay busy and you're less distracted. So yeah, that's habit number 4. Now, the last habit number 5, that you need to implement when trying to become lean is to have structure within your nutrition, and like I said before, and having a meal plan. And this also includes you staying hydrated. Now, when I say structured training, I mean hitting your calories and macros daily in an appropriate, consistent deficit that allows you to, you'd have structure within nutrition. So I don't want you to be, eating variety of different meals every single day. You want to pick one meal plan, and you want to stick to that across the cutting phase. The reason for this is so that you can hit your calories and macros daily, consistently, and way more easily as well. It will also save time as well. All of these benefits, and these benefits I've also mentioned in my previous, 2 videos. I'll send the link to that YouTube video in the description below. But like I said, you need to be having a structured nutrition, as it will make it easier for you to stick to a plan. Because the main reason why people fall off their diets is because they don't have a structured nutrition. They always like to themselves, what am I gonna eat? What should I eat today? What should I eat today? And then they just end up eating some random shit that they've got in their fucking cupboards. So instead of you doing that, but however, if you had a meal structure, if you actually meal prepped and you had a structured nutrition, it's gonna make it easier for you to stick to a meal plan and a diet and to an actual plan as well. So, and you need to, and alongside that, you need to be making sure that you're staying hydrated to allow you to full full. And a bonus tip as well, in every single meal, make sure you drink water within these meals and also between these meals, as it will allow you to experience less, diet fatigue, and it will allow you to feel fuller, reduce your cravings, and it will allow you to be hungry, because when trying to be because in a cutting phase, right, it's important to, don't experience any hunger and to not starve yourself and be less hungry. So yeah, that's the 5 habits that, in my opinion, those are the top 5 habits that that you should be implementing if you want to become lean. So if you found this video helpful, then don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like, comment, share, all of this good stuff, and I'll see you on the next video.